Well, it's a big year, we know that, with the Rugby World Cup coming up later on, but round one of Super Rugby did not disappoint. Game one didn't disappoint between the Crusaders and Chiefs. Everyone was talking about Richie Mo'unga, his last dance, Damian McKenzie coming back at 10. Who played well, who didn't, Mills?
Well, obviously Damian has played very well, off the back of, some, a very sort of dominant display from his forwards. They kept, the ball in hand. But Richie's class. We know that. This is round one. Let's not kid ourselves. This is a Crusaders outfit that's been there and sort of done that. But it's a great sign, isn't it, when you see someone like Damian come back into the fold. Obviously, he spent that time in Japan, JK, but also now really start dominant. And hopefully, this is where he goes. This is my position. Yeah,
just don't compare them, people. Yeah. Do not compare them. Two great players. The thing I like about Damian is he brings a different game. I think, KT, he's more like a rugby league standoff. He's a bit more lateral, he's not as traditional, he pops up in different places, and I think that's fantastic. I said that we completely missed him at the last World Cup because he can come on, he can either start a game or he can come on from a game, and he just brings something different. He has not conformed and he's always unpredictable. That's what I like about him. So I'm really happy because we do know, of course, that Richie's leaving. And Damian's still available. We just need to sign him as quick as we can, and hopefully we'll still have Barrett and him next year, when Richie will be a huge loss when he's probably coming into his prime.
Yeah, and you think about the Rugby World Cup and the bigger scheme of things, you got Bodie, Barrett, Richie Mo'unga and Damian McKenzie, all world class and all, like you said, JK, 3 different players. So it's going to be horses for courses. So depending on who you play and what sort of game plan you want, that's what you can do, and that's what I love about it. Like D-Mac, like you say, he runs a lot lateral, and there was a lot of pressure for him to change his game, but he didn't. And that's what I love about him. He stayed true to what he is and who he is, and then we've seen the fruit.
The hardest part for later on in the season is we've never had a situation. Well, we've sort of had, who would we play at 10? Not since Dan Carter's days that we thought, okay, he's out and out 10. Now we've got 3 different players that can play there, and also players that can play in different positions, or 2 of them that can play easily as well at fullback. So the big thing is going to be, when the All Black coaches come together, is what game plan do they want to play? Do they want to play the lateral style? Because you don't want to be chopping and changing, and when it comes to the Rugby World Cup, because the last thing you don't want inconsistency in the way the guys, their lines outside them. That's a massive position to fill.
Guess who my player of the weekend was, guys?
Tell us, JK.
Have a guess.
Someone in the Blues.
Yeah, well,
well,
of course.
No, you'll never guess. I'll put you out of misery. Ben O'Keefe.
Oh, jeez.
I thought he was absolutely outstanding. I think the new rules are amazing. I thought he read it. I thought he was strong. He brought his personality, and the game was outstanding. I've only got one thing I'd love for World Rugby to change, is that when the game got a bit stale in all the other games, it was because of the repetitive infringements. So when you watch Moana Pacifica, I think Moana Pacifica gave away 6 penalties. I still think we need to add, after 3 or 4 penalties, 5 cards in the bin consecutively. Yeah. And that would then take the control away, because the only negative on the weekend was actually the players not knowing the rules. A couple of guys were jumping over and smacking the ball down. If we brought that in, I reckon the game would be absolutely amazing. But Ben O'Keefe was amazing on the weekend. Yeah. Let the game flow, was strong, made the decisions, loved it.
It was great because he was inconspicuous, right? And the players decided the result, and then they I think that's the real secret of a great performance. I think that's what he did. And I'm with you. If you have a clear-cut 3 penalties, 4 penalties, whatever the number is, then the players know that's all they can get to. Otherwise, someone's going. And even though the Northern Hemisphere, they don't like these rules because they can't play this quick. But I think that's something that needs to come. And you've seen the round one, how attractive it was.
Yeah, round one of Super Rugby was so great, wasn't it, Mills? All the All Blacks were playing big minutes as well. Brodie Retallick didn't come off, Sam Cane didn't come off. These guys are playing huge minutes, available and there for round one. And
the spectacle became a lot better too, didn't it? I mean, all of a sudden there's more on the line because guys were there. There's no sort of humming and hawing where the guys, are coming back in round 3 or who do you put off there, or when do coaches actually sort of pull them? There's a real focus on those players being out there. And all of them stood up. You've got to remember, they went on India tour and they've come back, so they've had a limited rest. They've got to get up with the play. The fitness has got to be up. We just heard Brad Weber say that, it's a lot faster game. So I've been really impressed with the way all the All Blacks have come back in really good shape, KT.
Yeah, and we've heard from the top echelon, the All Black coaches, saying that the All Blacks are available for 14 weeks. So that's a lot of game time, not pulling them in and out, so they've got to have rest in between. But yeah, they're available for 14 weeks of this competition. 16 weeks, that's massive.
Most players will tell you it's not actually the game, it's training.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, like...
You want to get out of training.
Don't train, just play.
But I'm serious. Once you get a bit fatigued, it's actually the Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, the contact during the week. If you can get till Thursday or Friday off and just play, we saw it first when they changed the NPC a few years ago. Remember, we shortened it, and the guys loved it because they were just playing. So I think it's that combination, but it's great to see the All Blacks back. Yeah.
JK, I was sure that you were going to say your MVP of the weekend was Mark Telea. How can we not talk about this young man, 26 years old, absolutely carving this weekend? Has to be player of the round.
Definitely for me. I mean, the way he sort of created tries, isn't it amazing? I mean, he's always been, you know, before he wore that black jersey, he's been consistently, you know, the player of Super Rugby year in, year out. He's gone to another level. You know, what he displayed over the weekend, KT, was quite outstanding.
Well, I think you guys know better than most. You know, once you get into that All Black environment, you just absorb so much. And I think he's coming out of that end-of-year tour. We called that game we played in Scotland, got those 2 tries. You know, he's just gone to, as you said, that next level, and now it's coming out. And the confidence that he's got now, absolutely massive.
Great feet, good strength and pace. Put those 3 together and you've got a great winger. The thing about Mark, which is really interesting, is when you see him on television, he doesn't look as big as actually when you see him in person. He's a big man. But I think you're right, KT. You either go into the All Black environment and you feel a little bit uncomfortable and it takes you a little while to get used to it, or you go in there and go, wow, I want some more of this. And it looks like he's taken the advice that he's got at the end of the year, and he's come away. He looks a bit stronger up in upper body, and I just thought he started incredibly well. I think what Brad said, you know, about Sean Stevenson is really, really important. Yeah. You look for consistency. Sean's brought it in the last 6 months, but those guys, both of them will know if they want to crack on into that World Cup side, then they'll need to show consistency. But we need them to, right? Because I think going to the World Cup with a couple of, you know, nehe milaskaras, where people don't know them, they haven't been able to study them, is really, really important.
I was just about to say that he's a dark horse, if you can call it that, because he brings something different on that edge. A massive difference.
We'll watch him with interest this year, won't we? Because he is in some form, that's for sure. The Blues laden with All Blacks, as we know. What are the All Blacks stood out to you, Mills? Did you like the Pedal-Feta, Bowden, Barrett? What did you think of Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Hoskins? They've got so many to pick from.
They have. They've had that consistency now. They've got a really nice sort of solid group. You know, built around, you know, they've got the Pedal-Feta has really stood up as well over the last couple of years. You know, I even like Ioane. Ioane played really well. He's starting to really mature into that role and really understand what sort of that looks like. So he's almost you've almost discarded him in terms of a winger. You know, his first position now is centre. I like some of the touches he had, and he sort of complements the way they're wanting to play. So, and along with that, you know, you've got some big boys up front doing their job. So I think they're really understanding their game, but also, in the back of their minds, that final last year, I mean, you heard Dalton say that, you know, in his post-match interview, what that really means. So they've got a real desire to actually go there again and hopefully win.